Hello everybody, welcome to this sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the second session on power electronics which we are going through. In the previous session, we have discussed the concepts of power electronics, evolution of power electronics, and the power electronic devices which are mainly used in present day life, present day engineering. In the previous session, we have broadly discussed the thyristor family devices, their evolutions and their symbols, and a little bit of comparison between the power electronic devices and other electrical devices which are used for control. In this session, we will be discussing particularly the construction and working of SCR, that is silicon controlled rectifier, which is the main device of the thyristor family device and actually called as the thyristor. As we know, as we know, SCR is a four-layer device comprising of three junctions. And in this session, first we will discuss the constructional details of SCR, how it is manufactured, and how the layers are formed, and how it is fixed to a particular circuit board, and then layer by layer how it behaves, how the different dopings are done, and then we will compare its working and explain from the viewpoint of comparing it as equivalent to two transistors connected in a given fashion. First, to start with, we will go through the construction details of SCR. As shown in the slide, as shown in the slide, it is comprising of P, N, P, and N layers. In between the junctions formed are J1, J2, and J3, and there are different types of construction to form these layers side by side alternatively. There are epithelial types of construction, MESA type of construction. Epithelial type of construction comprises of forming the layers one after the other by diffusion method, whereas MESA type of construction is mainly dependent on sandwiching the layers one over the other and then bolting together. In this slide, the MESA type of construction is shown mainly where the upper P layer, upper P layer or outer P layer is connected to anode. Anode, which is made up of a highly conductive material and mostly in aluminum in all the cases, excuse me, and the outer N layer is connected to cathode, again an aluminum terminal. The inner P layer, the inner P layer to this gate terminal is welded into this P layer, and the Doping levels and construction of this SCR is done as such for proper working and the actual thyristor working principle. The cathode is the most heavily doped region, and then the outer P layer is doped to the next level. The inner P junction is the lightest doped layer, and the gate terminal, which is welded to the inner P layer, is slightly connected nearer to the cathode, or you can call it as nearer to the junction J3. Gate terminal will be nearer to junction J3 and nearer to cathode when compared to anode. This is the interesting feature because of which the gate triggering or turning on of SCR can be uh, easily done. And once all these layers are formed together and sandwiched together, all the layers or the SCR is bolted to a threaded stud. It is bolted to a threaded stud so that it can be fixed to the given circuit inside the given circuit board, again to proper heat sink. And here comes the actual discussion on heat sinks. What is a heat sink? So far, in your previous discussions on the semiconductor or electronic components discussed in the second and fourth semester level, their voltage and current ratings were less, and so the heat developed inside those components due to the opposition to the flow of current or the internal resistance of those components will be somewhat less, and there will not be any need to dissipate the heat developed in most of the cases. But as the voltage and current ratings go on increasing, more and more heat will be developed across these electronic components, and particularly in all the power electronic devices which will operate under power frequency voltage and currents, and even more than that for transmission and distribution voltages where hundreds and thousands of volts and currents will be flowing through these power electronic devices. So obviously there will be very high amounts of heat developed inside these power electronic devices. There is a need to continuously take away the heat from those power electronic devices. If not done, these devices will get damaged permanently and cannot be reused. At the same time, even though they are not damaged, their operation gets affected. The losses will increase, efficiency will decrease. In this presentation, many types of heat sinks are shown. This is the this is one of the most commonly used heat sink, made up of aluminum in all the cases, probably 99% cases. The threaded stud of the SCR, the threaded stud of the SCR will be fixed into this hole of the heatsink and to the electronic circuit. These protruded portions are called the fins. Again, in between them, air passages will be there continuously. The air passing through those fins will be taking away the heat, and also the aluminum being a highly thermal conductive material, it will also take away the heat from the power electronic devices, and thus they will protect the power electronic devices from getting damaged. So once again, to have a recap, SCR is made up of four layers: P, N, P, and N. In between junctions J1, J2, and J3 are formed. All these layers are joined together. The outer N layer is connected to the cathode made up of aluminum. Outer P layer is connected to the anode made up of aluminum, and gate terminal is welded to inner P layer somewhat nearer to the junction J3. And once the total SCR is formed, it is bolted to a threaded stud, which again will be threaded to a heat sink and to the given electronic circuit where we have to install it. So these are the construction details, and when it comes to the formation of layers, the cathode uh, outer N layer which is connected to the cathode or outer N layer is the heaviest doped layer. Next, the outer P layer is heavily doped, and the inner P layer is the least doped region. Because of the least doping of the inner P region, the junction J2 will be able to block more and more forward voltage. The width of the junction J2 is the actual factor which decides the forward blocking voltage capability of an SCR. When you go through the symbolic representation, as we have already studied it in the previous session, anode, cathode, and gate, A, K, and G, PN layers alternately with J1, J2, J3. Gate is connected somewhat nearer to the junction J3 when compared to J2. SCR is a four layer, three terminal, three PN junction device. Outer N and P layers and gate region are heavily doped in the sequence mentioned. The inner N layer is thicker of all. Sorry, there is a mistake over here. It is inner P layer. Inner P layer is thicker of all and least doped. The terminal connected to the outer P layer is anode and that to the outer N layer is cathode. A third terminal is fused to the inner P region and is called as gate, which is slightly nearer to the junction J3 or outer N layer. After understanding the construction of the SCR, now we will try to compare the construction of the SCR by dividing it into different sections. As shown in the slide. The red dotted line is the demarcation line depending on which we can divide the given SCR into two different sections where the upper P layer comprises of the transistor T1 or anode transistor, which is a PNP transistor, PNP transistor, and outer N layer, outer N layer comprises of a transistor T2, which is NPN, NPN. So we can visualize this SCR as if it were constructed as a combination of transistors diffused in a given form. It is obtained by splitting the two middle layers into two separate parts. The same thing can be understood like this. The inner N and P layers are split into two halves and connected like this. And for main use of the SCR, to compare the working of the SCR with two transistor analogy, we will be considering gate G to be positive with respect to the cathode. When it comes to the transistor T1 PNP, PNP, the emitter of T1 is the anode and emitter of T2 is the cathode. The same thing when drawn with the equivalent electronic circuit is like this, where transistor T1 made up of PNP transistor is connected like this. Arrow into the base from the emitter terminal is the symbol for PNP, whereas arrow coming out of the base into the emitter terminal is an NPN transistor. Now when you examine this connection between the transistors, the collector of the transistor 1 or anode transistor is connected to the base of the cathode transistor or NPN transistor, and then again the collector of the NPN or cathode transistor is connected to the base of the anode transistor, and the individual gains are designated as alpha 1, beta 1 and alpha 2, beta 2. The current flowing into the first transistor from the anode is Ia, coming out of the cathode from the second transistor is Ik, and once you apply a positive voltage between the anode and cathode, once you apply a positive voltage between the anode and cathode, depending on the amplification of the first transistor, that is PNP transistor, the collector current, there will be a slight amount of magnitude of collector current flowing into the base of the second transistor or cathode transistor. Again, depending on the gains of the transistor T2, there will be a collector current coming out of the transistor, which will be again connected to the base of the first transistor. Because of the anode current entering and also the collector current, the collector current coming out of the transistor T1 increases again as these currents are added, and again when it comes to the transistor T2, the base current increases due to the addition of two collector currents, and again the collector current of transistor T2 increases. Eventually it is a cumulative action which results in gradual increase of collector currents of both the transistors, and eventually the cathode current will increase or anode to cathode current will increase. That is how current through the SCR increases and it starts to conduct at a specified condition, and it enters into conduction mode. So the this is a simple explanation of how the working of an SCR can be analyzed and compared to two transistors of PNP and NPN connected in back-to-back configuration. The same things in the equation forms how the collector currents go on increasing can be understood like this. During the off state of a transistor, the collector current IC is alpha IE plus ICBO, where alpha is the common base current gain, ICBO is common base leakage current. So depending on this, for the transistor T1, IC1 is alpha 1 IE plus ICBO1, and that for transistor T2 it is alpha 2 IE plus ICBO2. Then total current IA is the sum of collector currents of two transistors. Thus, cumulative action will be established. IA is equal to IC1 plus IC2. IC1 plus IC2. And once IA increases, again the base current of the transistor T2 increases, IC2 increases, again total anode current increases. Likewise, cumulative action goes on. And so far, whatever we have discussed is without any gate current entering into the base of the second transistor. We have considered only anode current entering into the first transistor. But if you give a very small amount of triggering pulse between the gate and cathode, that is, gate made positive with respect to cathode, a very small amount of gate current flows into the base of the second transistor, but it will have large effect. Now the total current, anode current becomes IA plus IG, and eventually the cathode current increases, where IK is finally calculated as alpha 1 Ig plus ICBO1 plus ICBO2 by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Without without gate current applied, the cathode current will be just this fraction of the expression. When gate current is applied, alpha 1 Ig is the extra factor added into the numerator, and thus the anode current will increase faster and eventually SCR conducts. So that is all about two transistor analogy of SCR, where we can imagine that the inner N and P layers are split into two different halves and connected together as shown. Eventually it can be visualized as a PNP transistor and an NPN transistor connected back to back, because of which cumulative action of increase of collector currents will be there, and eventually the conduction current flows from anode to cathode when enough current flows through the SCR to make it to turn on. The next topic which we are going to discuss in this session is VA characteristics of SCR. In fact, before actually going to discuss how VA characteristics vary and what are the salient points on it and how to modify those VA characteristics, we will pay our focus on how the SCR behaves when forward voltage is applied or positive voltage is applied between anode and cathode, that is forward bias, and when a positive voltage is applied between cathode to gate, that is reverse biasing. As just in the case of diodes, which you have already learnt in the previous subjects, that is diode will be having a forward biased condition and also reverse biased condition. First, we will be discussing the forward bias of the SCR. For that purpose, the circuit setup will be as shown in the slide. The given SCR is connected in series with the load. The actual supply is shown here, and a variable supply is given to the load and SCR circuit so that it can be gradually increased from 0 to the desired values. And there is another supply given to the gate where gate will be positive with respect to the cathode, again from a potentiometer and variable supply. And for all our purposes other than specified, the switch is always closed in this discussion, or there will not be any gate current flowing for the initial discussions. And once understanding the actual characteristics, then we will apply some gate pulse, then see how the characteristics will get modified. As the supply voltage is increased from 0 to 0 volts, the voltage applied across the load and also SCR will be appearing across the SCR as it is in the initial conditions, as it blocks the total voltage, or there will not be any conduction. To understand all these things, now we will go to the forward biased condition where visualize the SCR connected in the layers PN where positive voltages or supply voltage is given to the anode and cathode. Anode is more positive with respect to cathode. And as we already know the basic of the biasings, as anode is positive, connected to positive, the outer P layer, which comprises of P, that is holes are the majority carriers, holes will get repelled from the positive terminal and try to enter into the junction J1, whereas the N, that is electrons available in the inner N layer, will get attracted towards the positive terminal and flow into the junction J1. So both holes and electrons are trying to enter junction J1 in the opposite directions. The junction J1 will decrease rapidly, or junction, the depletion layer or width of the junction will decrease. Likewise, when it comes to cathode which is connected to the negative, the outer N layer, that is the electrons which are the majority carriers available inside the outer N layer, will get repelled from the negative terminal and try to enter junction J3. And contrary to that, the holes which are the majority carriers available inside the inner P layer try to enter junction J3 because they get attracted by the negative terminal, and eventually the junction J3 will also decrease in its width, just like the case of J1. See, when anode is made positive with respect to cathode, the switch is in open position, the SCR is said to be forward biased. Junction J1 and J3 are forward biased. Why they are called as forward biased means they get vanished, or their width will get decreased. There will be more flow of electron electrons and holes across those junctions. But when it comes to the middle layer, that is junction J2, the electrons available in the inner layer are going towards junction J3 or away from the junction J2, and likewise the holes available in the inner p layer are going towards the junction J3 or away from the junction J2. So contrary to the junctions J1 and J3, the junction J2 will go on increasing in width, or we can say that J2 will be reverse biased, and it will go on increasing in its width, which makes it difficult for the anode current to reach the cathode current, or very small amount of the order of micro amperes or milliamperes flows from the anode to cathode, and this condition is called as forward blocking mode or off state of the SCR or thyristor. When the anode voltage is increased, a very small leakage current flows from anode to cathode. In this mode, the SCR behaves like an open switch and is said to be in forward blocking mode or off state. That can be understood from this VA characteristics of SCR. It is the region shown here. Forward blocking mode or off state. When we increase the voltage from zero gradually, the increase in current will be very less in this region. Particularly, this is called as the forward leakage current region. And after that, with increase in voltage, the increase in current will be slightly more, but it will still be not able to make the rated currents to flow through the SCR. This current increases very gradually, and from the starting point, that is zero voltage condition, till this last point which is shown over here, Ig is equal to 0 or corresponding to VBO. In this region, for all purposes, we can regard that SCR is in forward blocking state, or it will be there in the circuit just like an open switch. It will be acting just like an open switch connected in series with the load. Whatever applied voltage is there, it will be appearing across the SCR in full. Applied voltage will be equal to SCR voltage. So when SCR is in forward blocking mode or off state, no current. For all practical purposes, we can say that no current flows through the SCR as well as the load. Load will not be getting any current. Then, if the anode to cathode voltage or applied voltage is increased to sufficiently large voltage, the junction J2 will break down. We have already discussed that with positive voltage between anode and cathode, which is going on increasing, junctions J1 and J3 will vanish, but J2 will go on increasing. And there will come a condition where the applied voltage will be sufficient to break down even the junction J2. Because of this sudden breakdown, very high current starts to flow, or you can say that SCR starts to conduct, which is called as avalanche or avalanche breakdown, and the voltage at which the junction J2 breaks down is called VBO, forward breakover voltage. VBO, forward breakover voltage, which corresponds to this point. So once we start increasing the anode to cathode voltage from 0, the increase in anode current or SCR current will be very very gradual as the voltage goes on increasing. But once the applied voltage becomes equal to forward breakover voltage, their Allen-Key breakdown occurs and there will be a high increase in current and rapid decrease of voltage drop across the SCR. As we have already seen this in forward blocking region, total applied voltage is appearing across the SCR terminals and it is blocking the total voltage, or you can say that total voltage is dropped across it. But when it breaks down at the forward breakover voltage, heavy current conducts through the SCR as if it is a closed switch or as if it is short circuited, and so voltage drop across the SCR falls to very low value, which can be seen over here. The difference between this point and this y axis, or this is the voltage drop. For all practical purposes, for an SCR constructed and designed for normal single phase voltage and currents, the voltage drop will be of the order of 1 to 1.2 volts a maximum. So the voltage drop across the SCR becomes very very less, and now SCR current goes on increasing rapidly and it enters into conduction mode. So once the Avalon key breakdown occurs at forward breakover voltage, heavy current flows through SCR. As a result, it acts just like a closed switch. Because of that, voltage drop across it falls to a very low value and it behaves just like a short circuit. And as the current goes on increasing through it, when we examine the VI characteristics, the current is still increasing slightly here, in which two currents are shown. One is latching current and one is holding current. Once after reaching the forward breakover voltage, current increases rapidly, but still we cannot say that SCR has entered into conduction mode. The current will increase, or forward current will increase, and when the condition prevails such that the current goes on increasing more and more, then when the magnitude of that current increases more than a predefined or rated value of an SCR called latching current, then the SCR is said to be entered into forward conduction state or mode or on state. That is, when the forward current flowing through the SCR becomes more than the latching current, SCR enters into on state or conduction mode. That is, when the forward applied voltage is maintained, the current increases further, and when it becomes more than a value called latching current, SCR is said to have entered into conduction mode. And once after entering into conduction mode, if for any reason, that is, supply voltage may be turned off, or voltage may go on decreasing, or due to some other reasons forward current will decrease. Then there, for all conditions, SCR will be maintained in on state until the current is more than a predefined or specified value for a given SCR called holding current. That is, when the forward current of an SCR becomes less than this value, that is, when it becomes less than the holding current, then SCR will be pulled back into the forward blocking state or off state. If the voltage becomes totally zero applied voltage, then it will be totally, the current will also become zero, and the SCR will be totally turned off, and it regains its original state. That is, the original PN layers will be established back, and it will be ready to be used again when forward voltage is applied across it. This is the most important feature of the SCR, that is, it can be reused continuously in forward biased condition with increasing voltages and currents. What we have to understand is, after forward breakover voltage is achieved, the current goes on increasing, and SCR will be pulled into conduction state or on state when the current becomes more than the latching current. But once after the conduction state is reached, there will be fluctuations or variations in the current, forward current. Even if this forward current is decreased, SCR will be maintained in the on state, but it will be pulled back into the forward blocking or off state when the forward current becomes less than the holding current. Here we have the definition of the latching current. Latching current IL is the minimum principal current required to maintain the thyristor in the on state immediately after the switching from off state to on state has occurred and the triggering signal has been removed. This triggering signal is the gate triggering signal. Even if it were there or not, the remaining definition holds good. When the gate signal is used, then we have to add this definition. So the latching current is the minimum current to be maintained through the thyristor so that it will be maintained in the conduction state once the gate pulse is removed after entering from the thing. Or you can also understand the latching current when coming from the off state as, so we can define latching current as, it is the minimum current required to flow through an SCR, which will be required to pull the SCR into on state or conduction mode from the forward off state or blocking state once the forward breakover voltage is reached. Yeah. And similarly, the holding current is defined as, it is the minimum current required to maintain the SCR in conduction state. Or you can also understand it as, holding current is the forward current of SCR below which the SCR falls back into off state. And we can easily understand that latching current is always more than the holding current, or holding current is less than the latching current. And for all purposes, we can be using SCR in forward biased condition continuously Even after the voltage is removed, you can reapply the voltage and you can reuse it. The other condition which we have to discuss is reverse biased condition, where cathode is made more positive with respect to anode and the gate switch is in open position. It is reverse biased, and when we compare with the forward biased condition, now the opposite occurs, that is, the holes get attracted towards the negative terminal and then gets repelled here. So junction J1 increases, likewise junction J3 will also increase, but J2 will decrease. In reverse biased condition, J2 will immediately get vanished, but both the junctions J1 and J3 will go on increasing further and further, which make it pretty difficult for conduction in reverse when compared to forward biased condition. But if you further increase the voltage in the reverse, there occurs the reverse breakdown